Hi guys, so I really don't want to do this video, and I'm like a fly around you know what. Because Brendan O'Neill just brings out the worst in me. And he's forced me to do a video where I am on the side of the British royal family. Now, if that's, you're probably wondering, well, what's wrong with that? Well, look on the left of your screen and you see what I'm propped up against. You understand what that was used for? Okay? So the idea that I am here to defend the British royal family against the likes of Brendan O'Neill is a lot to take for me, okay? I have to respond to this because Brendan O'Neill is like the you-know-what, and I am like the fly. I can't resist. So let's get into the video and see what he has to say.
Brendan O'Neill, why on earth are we being lectured on this by Meghan Markle, a Hollywood actress who spent 2 years in the Commonwealth and then decided to get that?
So just another thing is, this Australian guy, I've listened to him a number of times. Apologies if he's from New Zealand. Unfortunately, the New Zealand and Australian accent is quite similar. So if he's from New Zealand, I apologize, but I think he's from Australia. Why is Australia sending its trash back to the UK? This guy is absolute trash. Apologies for using such language against him, but he is a he's a hack. He just chooses topics to rub people's nose in it. He's not interested in having an actual discussion. He's not interested in having a debate with people. He just brings on people who agree with him, right-wingers, and they just reinforce his position. And he doesn't have anything intelligent to say. But anyway, so I'm getting sidetracked.
The hell out because she hated it so much.
I think that's the question a lot of people are going to be asking themselves. And, I've always thought that identity politics is really just a way for posh people to pretend to be oppressed. And I think Harry and Meghan's latest shenanigans is proof of that, because what we have here are two painfully privileged actual royals, a duke and a duchess, lecturing the rest of us about our supposed privilege, lecturing the rest of us to look into our souls and expel all the racism.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Brendan O'Neill. So, once again, I have to defend the royal family. I don't actually know what they had said. I'm not going to bother to research it. Why? Because it's irrelevant. Because Brendan O'Neill is not interested in what they had said. He's interested in attacking them because he doesn't like them. He's not... Look, whatever they said stands or falls on its own merit. If they said something that was correct, then it's correct. It doesn't matter if they said it. It doesn't matter if a poor person in outside Brendan O'Neill's home said it. It doesn't matter if Brendan O'Neill said it himself. If it was correct, it was correct. If it was false, it was false. By attempting to say, well, these people can't say something because they're in a particular position, that is nonsense. The argument stands or falls on its own merit.
Lecturing the rest of us about history, which most of us had nothing whatsoever to do with, it's absolutely perverse.
What do you mean they're lecturing us about history that we haven't anything to do with? Well, then how can somebody lecture... Of course, notice the weasel words he's putting in here. Painfully privileged, lecturing us. I would prefer that you deal with the substance of what they have actually said. But you're adding these caveats to it. You're adding these adjectives to inflate what they actually said. And once again, I don't even know what they said. But once again, as I said before, it's irrelevant what they said to this argument. If we want to have a discussion about what they said, then we can have that discussion. But Brendan O'Neill is never interested in what people actually said. He's more interested in who said something.
And what we have from them now, from this uber woke couple, is just this constant diatribe of woke platitudes and hectoring nonsense. I think fundamentally...
Can you give an example of it? Can you give us an example of something they've said, and then we can scrutinize it and understand if what they've said is correct or false? Is it based on reality, or is it not? Just by adding adjectives to it doesn't mean that it's wrong or that it's correct. Please, can you give us an example so we can analyze it?
Fundamentally, it shows that the current woke politics is so unbelievably unradical. This is, the whole Black Lives Matter thing, the whole white privilege thing has been embraced by huge corporations, by most of the political...
Sorry, and how is that relevant to what they had said? Once again, can we please have an example of what they said so we can analyze it?
Establishment, by actual members of the royal family, by privately educated leftists like Miss Penny. This is basically a bourgeois section of society looking down its nose on the rest of us and...
We still haven't gotten to what they've actually said.
Calling it progressive politics, and people are sick of it.
Eleanor Penny, are you just a champagne socialist alongside Harry and Meghan?
I'm more of like a lemonade communist, but I take the point. See, actually, I'm in the unusual position of having to agree with Brendan somewhat. Few caveats here, right? Because I do think that we should be careful of mistaking platitudes from very wealthy, very cosseted people like the royal family for a real reckoning and a real change that people are crying out for, right? Because what we need to do
because
is...
Eleanor, if Harry wants...
My point.
Why did you interrupt this lady and you didn't interrupt Brendan O'Neill?
We need is not just to think about the Commonwealth and acknowledge its history, but also try to unpick the structures of economic power that currently guarantee that many African nations are trapped in debt spirals, that kind of thing. So yes.
Yeah. So why does Harry?
Leading the conversation here?
Why does Harry then, Eleanor Penny, if he actually wants to put his money where his mouth is, why doesn't he give up the tens of millions of pounds he gets from?
Oh my God! Are you this friggin' dense? I haven't actually heard her response to this, but are you that? So why doesn't he just write a check? Yeah, that's going to change the system. These countries are in perpetual debt. Him writing a check, how is that going to fix anything? This is the same ridiculous argument on the right when people say, okay, we need to increase taxation on the rich. And the response is, well, why doesn't Bono or someone else write a check? Or why doesn't some rich lefty write a check? That doesn't fix the problem. It's a sticking plaster. It doesn't change the system. We need to change the system. These countries are indebted to the IMF, to the World Bank. We need to change what we have done to them. We have implemented neoliberal policies there. And that's in many cases why these countries are so stuck in debt. Prince Harry writing a check, how the F would that fix anything? This is a non-argument. It's extremely frustrating to listen to these people because they just splurt out this nonsense without actually thinking about it. Think about it logically for a moment. A country has up to, is up to $1 billion in debt. And this guy is asking, why doesn't Prince Harry write a check for £10 million? Okay, and how does that fix the problem? The debt is not just something that they can clear. If they clear it today, it's gone and then it will never come back. The entire society there has been damaged by that debt. They don't have functioning hospitals, infrastructure. Many people don't have jobs because the country is so indebted to these banks and financial institutions that they're not able to develop their economies. And then there's rampant corruption as well. So they're not able to invest. So Prince Harry can eliminate this with a £10 million check. Just listen to yourself.
from his daddy, from our money, from the Duchy of Cornwall, which is essentially all because of his privilege, and actually put it back into those countries.
I completely agree. I would absolutely celebrate that. And I think
I thought she was actually going to say something intelligent. I would agree with that. How does him writing a check fix the problem? The problem is much greater than that. These people.
I think we should be calling on not just Harry and Meghan to share their wealth, but the royal family more generally.
Brendan O'Neill, I find it quite astonishing that Prince Harry feels the desire to lecture the rest of the country about racism when he has a well-documented racist past that he hasn't actually seemed to deal with publicly.
Can you explain this?
In any way. Do you think maybe he needs to talk more about how he dealt with his own personal racism before he starts?
Can you explain? I don't know what you're talking about here.
Starts lecturing the institution of the monarchy and the Commonwealth?
Yeah, I think he does. You know, I know many, many people from all walks of life, and not a single one of them has ever dressed up as a Nazi. So the idea that we are going to take lectures from someone like that...
I haven't disconnected the video. I haven't stopped the video. My own video. I have my head in my hands because I really have given up on these people. I'm sorry for these delays in response. I really don't know what to say. Harry dressed up for a party as a Nazi. I don't even know how many years ago it was, but that's irrelevant how long ago it was. It was a joke. It was bad taste. Has nobody ever done anything that was in bad taste, made a joke that was in bad taste when they were younger? He apologized for it. He went through some contrition over it. Now, do you honestly believe that Prince Harry is a racist? Or he was a racist at the time? It was a stupid thing to do. That's as far as as far as it went. Now, once again, the killer of kings, I'm defending Prince Harry, defending the royal family from these idiots. Just think about that for a moment, okay? I have no love for the royal family, and I'm here defending Prince Harry. These people, they're not interested in whether Harry was racist or not. They're just looking for something to throw at him. If Prince Harry was... Imagine another scenario. Imagine if it was William. They love William. I don't know why, but they love William. Maybe it's because of Harry's wife. I don't know. I'm not going to put words in people's mouths. But imagine if it was William, and William had worn this, and the people on the left. I don't know why this journalist is here, but imagine. I don't even know why she's there. But imagine someone on the left was saying that, oh, well, what about William? What about William? These same people would be saying, how dare you, drag up the past? How dare you? He apologized for this. He's no longer racist. It was a mistake. It was a joke. I'm not defending Harry because of... I'm defending Harry because I truly believe that he did it as a joke. A bad taste joke. It was a mistake. It was a stupid mistake. He apologized for it. And I believe he was sincere in his apology. It wasn't a fake apology. It wasn't a non-apology like Boris Johnson or someone like that. He honestly... Now, maybe I am naive to think that he honestly apologized. But if he was racist, then we would see other examples. You wouldn't just take a single example of him wearing a costume at a fancy dress party. And it was a pretty crappy costume at that. You know, if he was a true racist, you'd imagine that he would have bought a full a full suit. You know, I do cosplay. Okay, it's irrelevant to this discussion, but you know, if you not World War II. Okay, Star Wars, but if you really wanted to get in to the, you know, if you were a true racist, I imagine you would say, look, and I have money, I'm going to buy really quality stuff. I'm not going to be, you know, having some crappy one with a swastika on the side. But that's irrelevant to this discussion. But really, this is your evidence. He wore a crappy costume at a fancy dress once and then apologized for it and then went on a tour of apologies. People were criticizing him for apologizing, saying, well, it's nothing. People on the right were saying, how dare he apologize? This was before all of this, you know, where we hate Harry moment. It's, you know, it was a joke. At least the people, the right wing in the past were a bit more, less snowflakey than they are today.
You know, maybe he would say it was a foolish error in his youth. Fine, I'm a forgiving person, and I'm happy to hear him say that. But you know, there is the broader problem. There is that broader problem you're pointing to of just the staggering hypocrisy of it that we are now being lectured to on these issues.
So that's it. Oh well, I'm forgiving. Okay, now I'm going to come back to attacking him again. That's your example. Him wearing a crappy costume.
By royals, by corporations, by members of the political elite. And I'm just staggered at the culture of conformism that now exists around this political moment, where we all have to bend the knee down to Black Lives Matter. We all have to bow down to identity politics.
Nobody's asking you to do this. Who's asking you? Who has asked you, Brendan O'Neill, to bend the knee? Nobody's asked me to bend a knee. I haven't done a video of me bending a knee, although you never see my face normally. But you haven't seen anyone. I haven't done a cartoon of someone bending a knee or a photo. I haven't posted a photo of myself bending a knee. Nobody's forced me to do it. Nobody's forced you. Why are you inventing scenarios that don't exist? Really, why are you doing that? I'm being forced to bend the knee. By whom? Do they have a name and address? Do they have an email address even? Do they have a Twitter account? I can't go on Twitter, as you probably know. These people, you keep saying, they're oppressing me, they're forcing me to go on my knees to them. Who are they? When did they do this? You know, some people are deciding to take a knee. Shouldn't, you know, you're always talking about free speech. Shouldn't they have the free speech to bend the knee if they wish? Why are you having such a problem with that?
You know, Eleanor says that she'd be happy for Harry and Meghan to give up their wealth and to stop being hypocritical, but that's not what she said at the start of this conversation. She was praising them for opening a progressive moment, which I'm afraid to say I think is completely delusional. And I think what's currently going on with identity politics, it is dividing us. It is pitting black against white. It is saying that white people are privileged, black people are victims. We need to go back to good old-fashioned class politics, which was about what we had in common.
But you are against this. You're against class politics. Because I've done other videos about you where you respond to things, and you're first of all, you're a supporter of Brexit. So you don't care about the poor. You don't care about the working class, the people who will suffer the most under Brexit. Under the lockdown, you're saying, well, I don't want to be under lockdown, to hell with the lockdown. Who are the people who are suffering the most under the lockdown, because of the lockdown, because of COVID? The poor and the working class, the ones who have to go out and deliver your frigging pizza, the ones who deliver your food, who deliver your packages from Amazon. They're the people who are suffering who suffer the most, who the least privileged. You're sitting in your friggin' home, air-conditioned home, heated home, wherever, I don't know, wherever the hell he lives. And he's getting packages delivered to him, I'm pretty sure. He's not going out. He has sufficient funds to be able to have people deliver things to him. Poor people, working class people. And he's talking about class warfare? Please, get the hell off this friggin' show.
How we could join together, how we could fight together for a better world. And I think people have had enough of these Fisher-Price revolutionaries like Miss Penny, I'm afraid to say, who are pushing a divisive agenda of identitarianism rather than a progressive agenda of looking to the future.
Eleanor.
Well, looking to the future. What the hell does that mean? Yes, let's all look to the future. Let's go back to class warfare, but look to the future. What are you talking about?
Good, the final word to you.
I'm going to take Fisher-Price revolutionaries and splash it all over my Twitter. That's brilliant. Thank you, Brendan. So
I'm going to take the Fisher-Price whatever and splash it all over my Twitter. Are these people any less empty-headed? You have this charlatan in the middle, this hack. You have this idiot on the left, Eleanor Penny, I don't know who she is. And then you have this right-wing buffoon, O'Neill, who's obsessed, truly obsessed with these adjectives. Woke, progressive, what else did he use? Privilege. He's obsessed with these things. And he's obsessed. It's funny that he talks about oppression. He's like, we're oppressed, we're oppressed. He has absolutely no understanding what oppression is. He's oppressed sitting in his home ordering his food on Just Eat, or ordering his I don't know, ivory back scratcher on Amazon.
So what I would say is that, yes, while we need to take seriously these kinds of messages, that we need to have a serious reckoning with the Commonwealth and its histories and the deep legacies of empire that are embedded into the British state, we also need to be having a conversation about how the royal family generally, not just Harry and Meghan, but as an institution, can face up to its own rules. Because, yes, Harry has a checkered past with racism, but so does the...
A checkered past? Can you give more of an example? Please, I would like to know. I'm going to do some research after this video. Harry, racism, and I hope this finds something. But even if he did have a checkered history, and he has apologized for that, and he's made amends for that, I think he does some good things as an individual. I'm not judging him as a royal, I'm judging him as an individual. I like Harry as an individual. I'm completely against the idea of the royal family. As you can imagine, if you look at the image on the left, I'm completely against that institution. But I'm not against what some of the individuals within that institution have to say. If it's true, if it's backed by evidence, if it's based on facts.
The institution of the monarchy in general, and I don't think we can cherry pick here, because that's not history. That's exactly the kind of identity politics and selective thinking that Brendan seems to rail against. And I am astonished that it's taken this level of vitriol has come out in response to two people just saying, hey, let's talk about history. And that really shows us how far we need to go.
Eleanor Penny, the journalist and left-wing commentator from Novara Media, and Brendan O'Neill, the editor at Spiked Online. Absolute pleasure having you both here. What do you think? Should Harry and Meghan?
Okay, should Harry and Meghan say things? Who gives a crap if they say things? What I care about is whether what they say is true or not. I know you don't. You're just a reactionary. We have to react to things that people say. Maybe and anyone who's listening to this at this stage, if you've stayed on the video this long, you could probably just say, I'm a reactionary. I'm reacting to this guy's commentary. But I'm sick and tired of this empty-headed response to things. Oh, I'm offended because a particular person said something, not by what they actually said. I don't care whether it's true or not. I'm more interested in who said it than what they said. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here, guys. This has gone on for much too long. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is Brendan O'Neill right? Is he wrong? Or is Eleanor Penny right? And please tell me this guy on the screen is not right. Thanks a lot. Why not become a Patreon and enjoy access to our Discord server where we share news, chat, and have some fun? If you become a patron, you can also make video suggestions on topics that are important to you. Check it out via the link in the description.